All right. Lastly, I want to talk about. So I'm the voice of Dominican boxing. You at one point was investing in Dominican boxing with Juan Dominguez, who was a really, really good 118 pounder.
118, 22 pounder, yeah. 22 mostly.
I remember he was the first person I ever met at New Legend. I remember I went, I signed up, I did the paperwork, I spoke with you, I spoke with Kevin, and then I was walking to the bathroom to change or something, and he stopped me. And he was like, "Oh, tú eres Dominicano?" I was like, "Yeah." He asked me, "Yo, you Dominican?" I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Yo, my name is Juan Dominguez." And he told me, "Yo, I used to be signed to Winky Wright." I was like, "What?"
Yeah.
So we started talking, and he was like, "Yo, bro, if you ever need anything as far as learning how to punch, learning how to move your head, he goes, "Yo, don't hesitate to ask me," And I was just like, "Wow, like this is a good kid. Yeah. I like this gym already." So he was the first person I ever met. Talk to me about how much talent you saw in him. And what happened at the end of his career where you guys kind of fell apart?
Yeah, so I mean, he was tremendously talented. He had a big punch. Listen, in boxing,
the body shots was crazy.
In boxing, if you can punch, you're gonna go far. So that's people don't like getting hit. So if you could punch, you always got that knockout chance of winning. And he had a tremendous body. He was known for that body shot. And it was crazy because I was known for the body shot as an amateur. I used to always drop people in the gyms. And every time I fought, I was dropping people with body shots. So he had that left uppercut that I used to love.
Bro, it was nasty.
That left body hook, man. And so we at the time he was stuck with a contract. And he asked me, "Yo, Felipe, please help me out, get me out of this contract." And we worked something out. We got him out of the contract, and then we started. Then Kevin and I decided to, he's a pro now. At the time he was like 4-0, something like that, 3-0. I forget what it was. So I'm like, and then he had fought. He was with Winky Wright. He had fought in some good cards. I'm like, damn, man, And I knew Juan from the amateurs. He was a good he was a good fighter.
He beat Claudio Marrero in the amateurs.
Yeah, and he beat Claudio. But then, what's crazy? He lost. I never thought he lost to Joselito Collado, man. And Joselito was a 2-time Golden Glove champion. Joselito had beat one of my other 4-time Golden Glove champion that I had. Joselito had beat him in one of the tournaments previously. But I knew Juan. I said, "Yo, this kid is talented. He's gonna go far." I told Kevin, I said, "Listen, man, we gotta sign this kid. He can punch for a small guy." I said, "He's gonna go far." And then he's Dominican. I'm like, let's help him out. I'm Dominican. I want to help my Dominican because my goal was to help a lot of Dominicans, like you're doing now. That was my goal back in the day.
You imagine you had me like who I am now back then? Woo!
My goal was to help out a lot of Dominican fighters. And because back then they were getting screwed, man. They were
100%.
They were signing these kids and bringing them over and using them, and make people, and the managers or the people bringing them over were just making money out of them. I didn't want to be that person. I didn't want to be. I wanted to go out, help them out, and show them that you can make money. You could be. So Kevin and I invested. We started investing money in them, building them up. We signed them. Started building them up. Came a time where the contract was close to the end, and he was unhappy with the contract because one promoter that was associated with us. Without getting into any detail with that, but he was just unhappy with that one promoter. So he said, "Oh, Felipe, once this is over, I will resign with you." I said,
"With just you, not him."
But just with your company." And then I said, "All right." So we let him. We had the extensions that we could have used, but I didn't want to do that because I liked him and I knew I thought he was gonna sign with me. But anyway, long story short, he ended up we released him. And then when the time came to sign him again, he said, "Oh, let me shop around." And I don't put for, I don't blame him because also, there's other people from the outside that will probably put stuff in his ears. "Oh, you should do this, you go here, you should do that," And so they kind of convinced him into shopping around. So he ended up signing with Al Heyman, and I ended up, on the losing end. Kevin and I invested a lot of money, hundreds of thousands of dollars. Without getting into any specific amount, but it was over.
It was a good amount of money.
It was in the hundreds, and
more than 100.
Oh, of course,
so two, 3.
Without getting into details.
So I'm just saying more than 2.
But listen, let me put it to you this way. We we helped them out every month, you know, and then we also were paying, you know, the opponents was costing us a lot of money. So,
I got
you know,
you. Yeah,
so,
yeah,
you know, they would, you know, even though, you know, we weren't giving him a big purse, but the opponent was getting a big purse, 15, 20,000, you know,
Yeah,
to fight him,
a
because you know,
prospect,
I'm bringing guys from Mexico, I'm bringing guys from Colombia, I'm bringing guys from different countries, you know, and it's costing us a lot of money, you know.
So there was a moment now where you working for DeBella and you guys end up meeting.
Yeah, man. So you know, listen, and the crazy thing is that I love Juan Dominguez to death. So I was hurt. I was hurt when I wasn't working with him anymore. So then a time came where I got hired by Lou to work with Lou DeBella, and you know, he hired me as his matchmaker. So I started working for him. You know, Kevin and I were working for Lou DeBella. I was matchmaking the cards, and then Lou had Jennifer Vicente. Now, mind you, when I had Juan, I got many calls for him to fight Jennifer. I'm like, no, why are we gonna fight Jennifer Vicente? He's Dominican. Why should we find another Dominican guy? You know, and then you know, and I never let it happen. And so anyway, but now Juan signed with Al Heyman, and they I guess they forced him to take a fight with Jennifer Vicente. But now I'm representing Jennifer Vicente because I'm working with Lou DeBella, you know. So it was sad because that night, you know, it was an ugly night, you know, and but
for the people watching, Jennifer Vicente ends up knocking Juan Dominguez out cold.
I was shocked, man. Everybody was shocked, you know, because it wasn't supposed to end that way, and then it happened. But, you know, instead of me so you can see the type of person that I am. Instead of me going out and celebrating with Jennifer Vicente team, you know, they were all celebrating going out. I said, no, I'm not. I'm going to the hospital too with Juan. And me and Kevin, we actually ended up in the hospital, and we stayed in the hospital until he got so they let him out. Until, you know, he was, because that's the type of person that I am. I'm like, you know, that's the love that I have for Juan. I still have the love for him. Mm-hmm. You know, it's sad that unfortunately he tried to pick up his career, but I don't know what was going on. I have no idea why. You know, he fought a few times in the DR trying to get going, but I don't know what happened. I have no idea what happened, you know.
It just kind of derailed from there, and then nobody was invested in him.
You know, but I had a lot of, you know, and what people don't know, I started off a lot of Dominican fighters, man. And I you know, but I'm not going to get into details because I don't want to start, you know, because I'm not that type of person to have social media wars. Because once I start naming stuff and this goes to social media, they're all gonna start, you know, and I don't want to start. But, you know, I started off a lot of Dominicans, and I actually helped out a lot of Dominicans from not getting robbed and how to, so. And I don't get I'm not asking for credit, but, you know, it's messed up that a lot of these people don't give me my credit, how I started, I did visas for a lot. There was guys doing visas for fighters and bringing them up and using them to steal their money. I was doing visas the right way for the right reason, to bring them over, to build them up, and to do, you know, so I did visas for a lot of Dominican fighters, and I brought them over. You know, there's some names up there that I did visas for that they out there, you know, but I don't, you know, I'm not.
You don't want to mention that.
I don't want to mention that.